Hello. So I thought I had a couple of questions on the pivot table that I thought it's going to be better given my explanation by video because I have typed a couple of things in the Q&A board and in some emails to some students. And I think possibly this is not, there's a limitation to how much text is getting the information across. So I'm going to, that's why I'm doing this video so that hopefully this is going to be a lot more explanatory than the text that the times that I've texted something. So I have this data set that I created. This is of 12 participants, and I have a couple of variables. I have gender, race, age group, place of residence, reported cases of intimate partners violence, use of dating apps, and reported alcohol use. And I want to create three pivot tables, all corresponding to different information. So the first one is to create a pivot table of two demographic information and two health data. The second is to create a pivot table of one health outcome for white male. The third pivot is to create a pivot table of one health outcome for Black participants who live in New Orleans. So let's start with the first pivot table. And this does not require any filtering. Just in case you don't know what I mean by filtering, which I hope you do, it's please refer to module 3 where we talked about filtering, sorting, and all of that. So this assignment, or rather, this to create this pivot table, especially for pivot table 2 and 3, requires you to combine what you've learned about filtering with what you've learned about creating a table. But for the pivot table one, you don't need to filter because it's just saying create a pivot table of two demographic information and two health data. So it's not giving you a subset of data to create data for a table for. So you just go ahead and use all the data. So let's go to insert and we pick pivot table and goes to new and then okay. So I'm going to change this. I'm going to rename this to pivot table 1 so that it's sure that this is a pivot table for this one. So let me go back and copy this stuff so that I'm reminds me of what it is that I'm trying to create. Right, so pivot table of two demographic information and two health outcomes. So let's say the two demographic information that I want to create with this pivot table is gender and it is race. In this case, I have placed both of them in the row. I can switch it up to put it in column, but I want to show you what that looks like. So I've unchecked the part that says show total because I don't think I want to show total now, but I can leave it there for grand total and leave this there for grand total, but I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to take that off. And then it says two health outcomes. Now, my health outcomes are going to go on that value. And I'm going to pick reported cases of intimate partner violence. I'm going to switch this to average. Remember, this was in numerical values, and it is better to average it than any other thing. And then the second health outcome that I'm going to use is use of dating apps. Right. So that's what it gives us. So in this case, what it gives me here is I have the gender, I have the race, I have let me expand this a little bit. So I have reported cases of intimate partner violence, and then I have use of dating app. As you can see, this gives me numbers, but it doesn't give me which type of dating apps that this means. So I can leave this here, or I can put it uh, in the column. so that this way the information that I get about reported cases of intimate partner violence will also give me the information based off on which type of dating apps that it is. So I'm going to close this so that it's clear. And I'm going to, for these two, that is, I have multiple decimal places, go to formats and to number and doing that so that it's smaller. So let us close that up a little bit so that the table is not too wide. Sorry, let me go back here. I don't want to show the total. I just want to leave it here. So that is that. And this is my table. Let me put this. I'm just putting this to make it easier to see. So from what we can see here, I can either if I remove this, it just gives me male, takes away the gender, but I can just leave it here. And from here, we can see that when it comes to reported cases of intimate partner violence, black females who are using Bumble have a average of one reported case of intimate partner. Those who are using who do not have any are not using any social dating apps have reported, for those who are black, reported cases of this. But anyway, this is the table that you're looking for. It is a lot cleaner than you would think. But from here, you can make sense of this. Now let's go to the second pivot table. So this says create a pivot table of what one health outcome for white male. Now you have to filter your data set because it has specified the subsets of your population that it wants to see. So I need to filter this. So I would go to here, this triangle here, and I will make sure that for gender, everybody, the female goes, and I just have the male. And for race, everybody that is not white goes, and I just have the whites. And so this is my data set, my sub data. Is it the data of a subset of a population? So I will create a pivot table for this pivot table, and I'm going to rename this just to be sure, make it easy for me to remember. This is for the second pivot table. And let's pick up this question so that is easy to refer back to it. And this is that. So to create a pivot table, I'm not going to include gender, I'm not going to include race. The reason I'm not going to include that in my pivot table is because everybody here is white and male. So there is no need to add that. So there are two, but it's asking me to create a pivot table for one health outcome. Now, if I do that, let's say I pick intimate partner. If I put it here, I change this to average. It may not look like anything. This doesn't make any sense because you can't make sense of this. So what I could do is I could add age group to my row, and then it tells me I have some information about this. Alternatively, I can use a different health outcome. I could use of dating apps and use of dating apps. The reason that I'm going to use this is if I just use one of this is what it's going to give me, and it's not going to make any sense. And the use of dating app is a categorical value. So if I just put it here, 19 doesn't mean anything. So in order to make sense of this 19, I have to put it here so that it kind of separates this number into it. So now what I have is that four white male participants are using Hinge. Four is using Bumble, four is using Hinge, six is using None, one is using Cupid, and Tinder, five is using Tinder. So that's what I have here. And but if I wanted to use this one that is a categorical value, I have to make this here. Let's use this average. If I took this and I put it here, this is not going to make any sense. It's just not going to make any sense. You won't be able to make sense of it. So that is the reason why when it's a numerical value, I just leave it here. And when it's a categorical value, I put it in both of them so that it kind of helps me in making sense of it. But I could put this here and it kind of settles it. So I know that the average reported intimate partner for Hammond is 2.25. I'm going to, um, um, you know, and then for New Orleans is 1.33, Cedell is 1.83, and I want to remove the grand total. So that is my information. Now let's get to the third pivot table. The third pivot table says Black participants who live in New Orleans. So I need to filter this. So race will be filtered where I remove everybody but Black. Place of residence will be filtered where I remove everybody except for New Orleans. So let me create my pivot table now. Pivot table creates, and my it doesn't say, sorry, let me copy that so that I don't have to go back referring to it. All right, so one health participants for two, one health outcome for participants who live in New Orleans. So if I chose use of alcohol in my value, I will also have to move it here because remember, use of alcohol in this case is a categorical value. So that's the way to kind of make sense of it. Uh, let's if you sum it up, it's going to give me nothing. Doesn't make any sense. If I use count, it's going to sum it up. Doesn't mean anything. So that's why I use counter. Right. And then I can also decide. Let me show you guys something. If I remove this from here and I put age group, this doesn't show me any information about the reported use of alcohol. It's just showing me information about uh, age group. I don't know any information about what's going on within here with alcohol use. So here I can just add this so that I know that for the age group, for those who use between the age 15 to 19, if they're used, sorry, this is dating app, not alcohol. Yeah, that's it. That was a business. So for daily, you have two, non-drinker, you have one. This is for this age group. And then for this age group, I'm going to remove the total. Remove the total. And for this age group, 20 to 21, we have the daily, we have the this. Let me move this to row so that it kind of shows it in this font. So we have daily, 18 to 20, we have two, 21 to this, we have this and stuff. So we kind of have this information. So play around with your pivot table so that you kind of make sense of it. A lot of the times what your pivot table is going to look like depends on what data you're trying to create or what data you're trying to create with your table. But now I've given you two examples, three examples actually, of how to do this, and hopefully this will help you guys with your project. To have a lovely day. Bye.